I'm going to do another flip through of an old journal today. This one is from January 2017 to June 2017, and it's not completely full, but it's mostly full. A big thing about this planner is it has a lot of information about my husband's cancer treatments, and so this one might be a little bit emotional, but I wanted to share this with you. It's just a regular composition notebook with scrapbook paper on the outside. Ooh, someone outside got excited. This was before I started using contact paper, and so I would just Mod Podge the sheet on. So you can see the edges. I don't know if you can see that that's kind of worn and raggedy on the edges. Definitely gives the book some character. Let's put it that way. Here's my inside cover. This is kind of jacked up because I used to have a picture here of my father who passed away, and so I took that out and I had put it into my next book. So that's why that's kind of looking a little janky. This is just a little library card pocket that I got from somewhere. I used to stick I had some smaller sticker sheets I would keep in there. So that's the inside cover, and then here we have the index. Now the index on here is actually a little more full than in some of my other planners, but I did use this for 6 months, so it filled up. This is January. So in this particular planner, compared to the one I use now, the squares are a little darker. So to me, off the bat, it seems much busier than the planner I'm using now. I don't know if, that makes a difference to other people, but for me, like if you look at the planner I'm using now, the lines are quite a bit less dark. They're a lot lighter. That's what I'm trying to say. Anyway, so kind of a boring layout, but I was busy. I didn't have time to mess around. This was from somewhere. When we went to see Red Hot Chili Peppers. That was our parking pass. I used to be in the habit of sticking tickets and little, things like that in my planner a little more often. I don't do that as much anymore because I usually put that in a separate journal. In this book, I did all of the months at the beginning. So I've got January through December, although I only used it through June, and so some of the months are just empty. That's why now I try not to do too far in advance because I don't want that wasted space. This is February. Anything highlighted in yellow is a cancer-related treatment, whether it's chemo or a hospitalization or a doctor's appointment, any of those things. So this would be like he would have a lab day, they'd draw his labs, then the next week they would do chemo, and he had a 2-day pump, so he would have to wear a pump attached to his port for these 2 days. So he would go on Tuesday, have chemo, go back on Thursday, and they'd take the pump off. And then the next week was labs, and then the next week they would do it all over again. So you'll probably see a lot of yellow highlighting in this month. But this was when I had very busy children, lots of different sports. My kids were a lot younger then. This is 5 years ago, so I still had kids in elementary, junior high, high school. Now my youngest two that are still in school are 12 and 16, so quite a bit different than 5 years ago. Sorry, 5 years, wow, 7 years ago. Sorry about that. This is March. I didn't quite decorate a whole, as much in this planner as some of my other ones, but I did find these really cute stickers. The only problem is they have some dimension to them. So on the following page, sometimes I had a hard time because I had to write, try to write over that bumpiness, but March, and then here's April. April and May start to get to be really busy in our family anyway, but especially when you've got, 5 of your 7 children are in elementary, high school, junior high. Yeah, it was kind of crazy. And then here's May, and now we're starting to get into softball season, so now my husband is umping a lot of softball games. As you'll see on the weekly pages, that's a little more obvious. But yeah, we were crazy busy. There was always something almost every night. And then June is where it slows down. So in June, softball season wraps up, so my husband's no longer umping as often. He took summer off, or at least June off of chemo, so there's no yellow. You can see where I'd planned for it, and then I whited it out. And so, yeah, June is a lot less busy for the kids, too, although they still had, we had Vacation Bible Fun, and we went to Okoboji in Iowa for a soccer tournament. My one daughter was playing summer softball, but just a lot less crazy. And then, as you can see, July, August, September, October, November, basically just empty. So let's get into some layouts. So this was my period tracker, but since I only went through June, not a lot there, but what I would do is I would mark out my period on the month, and then this was my key for different, things I was looking for. I used to like to do a little page at the beginning of the month where I would write out just a little specific memories. Anyone who's familiar with Godfather's Pizza, Omaha and Iowa is where there are a lot of Godfather's pizzas. I'm not sure if they're in other states, but the Godfather, this gentleman here, came to visit our school, and he signed us a little autograph card, so I thought that was kind of fun. Other things we did in January, we went to Red Hot Chili Peppers concert. We went out for lunch. We had a basketball game. We had a tournament at another church. Here we found out that his biopsy was positive for cancer. We already knew it was cancer, but technically that's when the biopsy came back. Anyway, so memories. So here's just kind of a typical week. I did not used to use a lot of stickers, as you can see, but I did use washi tape. I did try to keep track of the weather to a degree. I would write down the forecast, or I would go back and fill in what the weather was actually like, because, they're not always the same. I would always write a little thing in the corner for cleaning. This was my little kind of daily tracker. And I've gotten away from that, but I'd like to get back because it was a good visual reminder of, did I do laundry every day? Did I do the dishes every day? Which days did I shower? Did I make my bed? A little kind of visual reminder, because I am definitely a visual person. And I would usually do, instead of having a time, it would be kind of like morning, midday, evening. I put my meals in the middle to kind of differentiate between day and night. Where dinner time would kind of fall in there. So it's a little bit different in that way. I do kind of like that idea, and I'm toying around with going back to something like that where I have my daily to-do stuff at the top, and maybe like a little, this is my schedule for the day of times when I'm going to do certain things, as opposed to appointments and stuff down here. I don't know. We'll see. I did still do the weekly to-do, though, and carry things over if I needed to. This is my recipe page. So when my husband found out he had cancer, he immediately stopped eating carbs almost completely because he read an article that said carbohydrates feed cancer cells, which is true to a degree. So another thing he was really worried about at that point, or he became worried about, was using natural cleaners. And so I went and I kind of scoured the internet and I found some cleaning recipes that I could make myself because it made him feel better. Now I don't use as many of these. Some of them I still do. I don't use the homemade dishwasher detergent because it has, it just ends up being way cheaper in the long run for me to just buy it. Laundry detergent, I did this for a long time, but the problem with this is that I think it messed up our washer. So, I mean, there are definitely good recipes and bad recipes. I did really enjoy the vinegar cleaner. I liked the reusable dryer sheets idea. Fabric softener crystals, I actually really liked these, but then I found out that the Epsom salts destroy the gaskets in your washer, so I quit using that. Got a shower spray for after your showers, bathroom cleaner. Anyway, so, oh, and then this was my shopping list. So this is something I do still use in my current planner, and that is where you take a sticky note, you plop one in each section for each store that you go to, and then you write down what you need for that particular store. I still do that. Skipped a couple pages. Here's another weekly. I really like the looks of this one. I tried to use all gold foiled stickers. There weren't a ton. Again, I didn't decorate a ton, but it was very colorful and shiny. I like that. I made my own garbage can stickers back in the day. It took me forever to figure out how to do it, but I took one little garbage icon and I put it on a whole sticker sheet of paper, and then I printed it out, and then I cut each individual sticker out, and it was exhausting, so I stopped doing that, but they're cute. And I did I still did the meals, but again, those were meals that I had already had. I wasn't very good at planning ahead, because my husband did all the grocery shopping, and he would just buy things that were on sale, and sometimes it was hard to put together a menu based on that, so... Sorry, my mouth is getting dry. So there's that. And then we have my wish list. I was looking for a new bag, new backpack / purse, whatever. And these are just things that I needed, or that I was hoping that I could save up for. This over here are my kids' kind of needs list. As a kid would be like, hey, Mom, I need new cleats or whatever, I'd write it down. Or, Mom, my underwear is too small, I'd write it down. Thankfully, they didn't need a whole lot, I guess. This was just another kind of layout. I had craft projects I was trying to get done. I used to be way craftier back in the day when I was home all day. I've kind of gotten away from knitting, crocheting, scrapbooking. I really would want to get back to that, but that means dealing with stuff in my basement, and I have to take care of some flooding before I can get back to that. This was a list. So once my husband was diagnosed with cancer, we started having a lot of people bringing us meals, which was very, very nice. So I kept a track of nights when other people would bring us stuff, so I would know what we could have for those nights. Because it was like an online sign up. And then this was just some prayers, prayer cards I got from different people. Just kind of gave me some hope. Oh, and that was glued in with a glue runner or tape runner. But as this book is 7 years old, it popped out. So I'm just going to glue that down real quick. Oops. Stick that back in there with my Elmer's washable school glue. Alright. So this was, I tried to do a cost sheet for different stores we went to with different food items. And my plan was that I would laminate this, and then I would go through and I would use a wet erase marker so that it wouldn't rub off, and write down, like, apples are cheapest at Aldi or Baker's or wherever. Yeah, that never happened. Here's another week. I used to like to choose a color and then just kind of go for it. This was not so much that, but purple was the color for pancreatic cancer, and so you'll see a lot of purple in here. But again, similar layout, you know, morning, afternoon, evening, lots of basketball games. This was before I had the little icon stickers. I had run out, and so I just went back and did, you know, doodles instead. Yeah, more cleaning things down here. This is one of my favorite quotes from Irma Bombeck. Cleaning while your kids are growing is like shoveling the walk while it's snowing. So true. This is in February now, kind of mid-February. My husband, you can see, has cancer treatments. Once he started cancer treatment, he quit his job, so he was always home during the day, which was good. He could rest. He could do all of the home research, you know, look up things, go to the grocery store, whatever, during the day. And, you know, he could do all the things he needed without the kids around to kind of rest. And then in the evenings, he would coach basketball during this time of year. So he was still very busy. This was our anniversary. What else? Valentine's Day. Anyway, so that's the week of February. These are our February memories. Again, a friend of ours died in February. She died of a heart attack in her sleep. Or sorry, she had breast cancer. She died in her sleep, though. That was hard. Our kids had played soccer together, and yeah, that was rough. Some of our other memories, you know, just different things. We had family fun night, spelling bee. We went and saw Lego Batman. Another friend of ours died in February. She had died of a heart attack in the middle of the night. Again, that was really sad. So anyway, February was kind of a mix-up of happy and sad things, I guess. Books to read, books that I did read. So these are all books that I wanted to read. Some of these I have gotten around to. Let's see, I'm curious now. I did read that. Since this time, I've read that. Let's see. That one, this one. And that's it. I guess I've got some books to go back and read. Here's another layout. So this was kind of my attempt at a rainbow where I do red and then orange and then green. And I like it. I've done that since a few times. You know, it's kind of fun. So my birthday was this day. So we arranged it when we were getting married that my Valentine's is on the 14th. My birthday's on the 20th. So we got married on the 19th. And so we cram it all in a week. No, that's not why. That's how it worked out. So wow, I was 44 years when I did this book. So my youngest was about 4. This was one of those weeks where I did more journaling probably than where we had events going on, but had a few games in there. Yeah. I just used to like write little notes about the day, like little notes about chemo. Yeah, more cleaning. Okay, this page is kind of one of those things that I hated to have, but I needed it. I started keeping track of all of my husband's appointments, write down procedures, if he had any specific symptoms, other things that maybe I needed to keep track of. Like on this day, we noticed he started losing some hair. Down here, his platelets were a little low. He had a bad stomach ache, things like that. Just because from my own memory, and so that I could, my husband wasn't always great about telling the doctor how he felt from day to day. And so if I noticed something that I thought was important, I would, mention that. I started out going to his appointments with him, but then he decided he didn't like that because I would speak up to the doctor and ask him things, and that embarrassed my husband, so I wrote it in here instead. Here's a page where my son did a little decorating for me. So he was 3.5, 4 about this time, which I thought was really cute. Another layout. This is going into March. They're pretty similar from week to week still. This is when I started looking for a job. I realized if my husband wasn't going to be working and he was going to be home during the day, that, excuse me, I could start looking at maybe getting a part-time job. This was another attempt at keeping a cleaning list, and that didn't work out so well. This was just a coloring sheet. I had done something on this other page. I don't even remember what, and I didn't like it, so I do remember that I covered it with a coloring sheet. So here you're seeing more purple. This was middle of March, so, a few more things going on. We used to, in the evening, if it was nice weather, we would go out and go to the park. My mom would come visit occasionally. My husband's parents would come visit, so, like, my mom was here, I think. Oh, no, my stepmom was here during this week. Anyway, so that's part of February. I didn't do cleaning this week because we were getting ready to go somewhere. I have a packing list. I don't remember. Excuse me. Passwords. Websites to check out. These are some March memories. We started having fish fries. It was 82 degrees on March 19th. Oh, that's where we went. We went to the Mayo Clinic for my husband to do some testing. And they basically said that was kind of our second opinion. And they said, yes, everything that your Nebraska doctors are doing is exactly what we would do. So we felt better about that. Went saw some movies. Had a tournament. My daughter's first communion. Dodgeball tournament. Anyway, so that was kind of fun. That layout. This was the day that we were in Mayo Clinic, and this was going to be a brain dump page, and then I didn't use it. But here I was sitting in the waiting room, and I saw a magazine from the Audubon Society, and this was on the cover. So I just kind of do a little quick sketch because I've mentioned before in some of my videos that cardinals kind of hold a special place for us. But this is kind of how that few days of testing went. Now we're getting into, towards the end of March, again, another rainbow layout. I remember this day the temperature was 82. That was the day I had on my memories. But yeah, we've got, chemo, getting his pump off, This was my son's birthday list, which I think is cute. He wanted Transformers, a racetrack, new cars, a wind-up toy with a frog, a Lego set for outer space, a Ninja Turtle toy, and a gorilla stuffed animal, and penguin stuffed animal. So, that's cute. And then just another little prayer. I've always liked this layout, but we're getting towards the end of March here. Here we have going into April. I also really like this layout with all the blue. Yeah, now we're starting in with soccer. My husband started, my daughter started softball practice. Yeah, still doing chemo. Here is a page that I did when I was feeling really down about my husband's cancer diagnosis and how I was feeling kind of alone. Cancer is lonely for the person who has it and the person who takes care of the person who has it. But here's where he started getting very specific about things he would and wouldn't eat. Anyway, so now we're in April, starting to look at spring. Lots more soccer. Softball started. April, I didn't do any more memory pages after this. Not really sure why. I just quit doing it. Here I was trying to design a bag that I was going to try to sew or crochet. I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and then I never ended up making the purse. And this is a granny square shrug I was going to make for myself. So I kind of wrote out a little quick summary of how I was going to do it, and then I got about halfway done with it, never finished it. These are my kids' pictures. This, our high school did, they do a fundraiser every year. And so this is just kind of a school page. This is my wedding picture. I was pregnant with this one in that picture. So here we're getting ready to go. We decided to go on a cruise. My husband and I had never been anywhere besides just the two of us since our first child was born. We never went anywhere, just the two of us, ever. Not overnight. And so we decided to go with some friends and take a cruise. So here's my packing list. Information about the cruise, little doodle. Tips for packing, what to bring on the plane, in the carry-ons, what to bring in our suitcases. Here we are getting ready to go to Okoboji. So these was the packing list for those. Things I need to make sure I remember to clean. Here is where I started to lose some weight. Eventually, I didn't finish filling this out, but I eventually lost 35 pounds. By the time we left for the cruise, which was in here sometime, I lost another, 10 pounds, maybe 15. So I was happy about that, but it didn't last long, unfortunately. Here are just some little notes, different things that we did. Easter, we went and saw an Omaha Beef game, which is like arena football. That was fun. Just some little things we did throughout the months. This is a layout from April. Part of the reason this page is sliced off is because I had a list on this side that I moved into the next book. And so, since I didn't need this page anymore, I just cut it. That's why that's like that. And then this is part of the next week. This page I taped in. And yeah, I don't know, it's weird. So this is part of another week. Now we're getting into the end of April. This one was kind of plain. I think partly because I was just getting busy. It was raining, things got canceled. Getting towards the end of the school year, starts getting busy. This was things I wanted to keep track of in my binder. Sorry for my voice today, by the way. I'm having a rough voice day. Down here, a reference binder. I wanted to start keeping track of things like insurance cards, health information. things that my, information for my kid's doctor, stuff like that. These are different bags. Bag for the car, bag that I carry around daily, bag for the pool, bag for games, all the different things I keep in each bag. I was trying to do a capsule wardrobe, so I tried to go through and decide what I need and what I didn't. Never made it to the winter one, but it was a fun experiment. I enjoyed that. This was going to be for cruise memories and things I wanted to do and see, but my husband kind of took that over. Anytime we went on vacation, he would do all the planning. He would research the location. He would get the hotel. He would do all of the, plan all the excursions and all that stuff. So I didn't really get a whole lot of input into that. So that's why these 2 pages are blank. So now here we are in May. Cinco de Mayo. We're getting towards the end of the year. I don't have the cleaning thing on here. I kind of went back and forth on that. I was trying to do a different system at this point. Here I'm marking out morning, afternoon, evening. But I still didn't really do a timeline, partly because, we might have 3 games at the same time, and you can't cram all that into a 2-line space. Anyway, here are some graduation pictures and invitations from different friends that I put in here. Summer bucket list. So at this summer, I knew I was going to have 5 kids at home, ranging in age from 4 to about, I want to say 15. So I knew we had to find some things to do. Excuse me. So I made a big list. Things we can do, places we can go, things that cost money versus things that are free. And then summer lunch ideas. 5 starving kids all summer long. Gets kind of crazy, so wanted to make sure I was set. I liked this layout too. It's very, very simple, but I like the pops of red. Excuse me. But see, now we're doing soccer. My husband started umpiring. My daughter had softball games, so yeah, it was quite busy in May. Here, I tried to do a different type of layout. I started trying to do more like actual bullet journaling. That lasted just a few days, and then I was like, nope, I'm good. Let's see. My daughter won a scholarship. That's what that's for. Mother's Day. This is a card I got from one of my kids. This was a little card I got from Max, my youngest. And then this was, my husband got me a portrait, not a portrait, a picture that had all of our names and dates on it. And it's like our family tree. So that was Mother's Day. And now we're getting to the end of the book here because there's not a ton left. Usually when I start getting to the end of the book and I realize I'm not going to use up the whole thing and I want to move into a new one, I usually kind of use the last few pages. I start just kind of using them for layouts. So here's a few pages of me just deciding how I want to change it up in the next book. So here's a week in May where I tried a new strategy. I tried to do my weekly on the side page, which wasn't terrible. And then notes, and then I'll try to do like a daily bullet journal-y kind of thing. And I didn't like that. I did it, and I didn't love it. And my son drew me a little picture. And then I thought, maybe I'll do something like this, where I've got the days across the top, notes, and this would be my menu, my daily goals, more notes, things I have to do, like my to-do list, cleaning. But then I decided, I just really prefer the vertical layout. I always have. I think I always will. In this case, though, I did break it up into morning, afternoon, evening, and then notes at the bottom, which is similar to what I do now, only now my notes are at the top. So that's really the only difference. Now my notes are at the top. It's a little bit smaller because I don't have as much to write. And that gives me room to write in actual times, especially now that we're not so busy and I don't have like 3 soccer games at the same time. I tried to keep track of water intake. E is exercise. K is am I in ketosis or not. Clearly this was a rough week because I wasn't half the week. Anyway, but I did like the weather at the top. I might go back to that, but someday this was a list of all of the things around the house that needed to get done, and I'm going to be honest, we didn't get any of this stuff done, and the entire probably 3 years that my husband was sick, we didn't get any of it done, and when I left, I had to do about half of it before I could sell my house, so that was rough. Here I'm practicing another layout idea. Still didn't love it. And now the extra paper at the end is where my kids are starting to draw pictures. My son Max got a little more adept at his artistry. And then there's some blank pages. Here I tried another layout idea. Didn't love it. More artwork. I'm sure that's probably just all scribbled on pages. We would go to all the soccer games and basketball games and, softball games we had. My best friend was my pen and pencil case that had colored markers in it, some washi tape, and this planner because it would keep my son entertained. And he would draw me little doodles. They would play, he and my older kids, they would play tic-tac-toe in here. Some of the pages are ripped out. I don't know if I moved them into new books or not. But here, again, just a bunch of doodles that I just all stuck together with washi tape. They were just scribbles. And then the last page is a little picture that my son made for me out of a scratch pad. And then on the back, this was just a cool picture I found. I just really liked it. And that's it. This little hole right here, I had a piece of elastic that I had used, and I knotted through here, and then I used it as a cover to hold my book closed. But that's a flip through of my composition book journal from 7 years ago, and I hope you liked it. Thanks.